from KCAD, and as for one of my classes, I have to create a bulletin board at Kendall, and it's a 6 foot by 8 foot. I got to stand in this big box just to reach the top of it. It's so fun. So for that assignment, I had to choose one of the lessons that I created and create a bulletin board that features that lesson, similar to Mrs. Erickson's bulletin board over here that featured the lesson that you did first in this drawing class. So the lesson I've chose is this next lesson that I'm going to introduce to all of you. So what that means is some of these pieces I will be borrowing to hang up at Kendall College for a month as part of this bulletin board. So just kind of keep that in mind. Hopefully that's kind of exciting to some of you. So we're going to get started. There were several animal pictures on the table. Hopefully everybody got one. If not, there are more to choose from. You do have the option to choose your own animal. If you just went, oh, I just have to draw a bumblebee. They speak to me. You can get on the internet, find your own picture of a bumblebee. There's a couple of things with that. That's somebody else's photograph. There could be copyright violations involved. Now we are cropping these, so that is going to help alleviate some of that, but it does limit you on whether you can enter it in competition or what you can actually do with it. These photographs that were printed and brought in, they were actually taken by my husband, and I do have like artist rights, so you guys do have the right to use those. So he has signed that over to the Northview High School Art Classes. So that's kind of where we're at with that. The animals that I chose from the pictures are all something to do with, they all have some kind of texture. So for this project, we're focusing on colored pencil, which we touched on last week. We're going more in depth. You're going to have the full rainbow of colors available to you, not just one. We are going to work on blending, which is mixing those two colors together, which we told you not to do last week. Now we're going to do that. And more layering to create a more realistic look. So I want to show you an example of a little bit of what I'm talking about. So I'm going to bring this around because it's kind of hard to see if you're not close to it. So this is a colored pencil drawing that I created. This bottom portion is what your first step is going to look like. And I will make sure everybody gets to see it. So what you're going to do is you're going to map in your lightest lights first and just kind of put in your colors. You're almost going to create a color map of your animal. So you say, okay, there's a little bit of yellow in here, there's some green in the background, the ground is brown. Obviously there's a lot more to it than that, but just to get started, you're almost going to create a color map. I'll come around the back way here too. So you know where you're going with it. Once your color map is done, and you're going to want to spend some time on it. Don't just throw colors in randomly because you want an opportunity to be successful with this. Once your color map is done, then you can move up to your next layer. We're going to start to blend some of your colors together to create the textures that you're looking for and to create more colors and more depth of color. You will be doing this drawing. You can't see because I'm really bad and never create borders on my drawings. The board that I created this on is a dark, almost charcoal gray. You will be creating your drawings on a board very similar in value. It's a dark brown. The reason you want to work on a dark color for something like this with colored pencils is it pushes the pencils to give you the most rich, saturated color that you can get. So once you do all of those layers, then you do the final layer. And that's what really brings out the details and creates your animal and makes them look realistic. So that's kind of the fourth portion of this assignment is we are going for realism. So we have texture, we have colored pencils, we have animals, and we're trying to achieve realism. Now this is an entire animal, drawn very large. You are not going to have to draw this big, and you're not going to draw the entire animal. As I said, you are going to crop it in to a smaller size. And a few people were in here earlier, and I told them part of the concept is you want to fool the viewer a little bit. You're not going to show them the whole animal. You might not even show them the head. Maybe you just show the body. And you want them to look at it and go, what is that? And kind of try to figure it out. And there's actually going to be names of the animals with the bulletin board so people can try to guess and match it up. All right, so that'll be here all week. The next portion of this, last week and pretty much in most of your drawing classes, you focus on observational drawing because that's one of the fundamental skills of being able to draw, is you have to be able to draw from observation. Once you master that skill, you can do many things with it. Illustrators tend to work a little differently, and I do have an illustration degree, so this is primarily how I work, and I wanted to introduce it to you because some of you may decide to go into illustration, or some of you may find that this is a process that you use even outside of school because it doesn't require a lot of materials or crazy technology. So this is what is called an image transfer. It's not tracing. I'm just going to say that once. It is called an image transfer when you're talking about illustration. So this is a cropped version of, there's a sea turtle. I think somebody last hour got a sea turtle photo. But this is a crop of a sea turtle. So at first you might look at it and go, I don't know what that is. So what each of you are going to do is, we have pre-cut board sizes. They're different proportions. You're going to choose how to crop your image. Once you have it cropped, you're actually going to cut it out. And on the back of it, you're not going to be able to see it from here, but all over the back of this, I rubbed chalk. Oh, there you can kind of see it. Okay, so I rubbed chalk all over the back of this paper. And then you're going to tape it to your board, chalk side down. And last week when I was drawing, I told you I was making a map. This is where kind of that term comes from, because this truly is like making a map. I'm not drawing a turtle. I'm just drawing shapes. I'm drawing shadows. I'm drawing highlights. I'm drawing anything that I want mapped into my drawing so that I can use it when I'm adding colors. So I'm just going to start. Normally I start in one corner and just work my way across the animal. I'm going to jump around for this demo so you can kind of get an idea of what the overall looks like. I like to use a blue pen to do this because it's easiest to see where I've already traced. But it works with a pencil, it works with pretty much any ballpoint pen. You do not want to press hard. Mat board or illustration board, those are all made by individual sheets of paper compressed together till it becomes a board. So it will indent if you press too hard, and that will affect your drawing because that indent will still be visible after you put color over it. So I'm just going over this, mapping out shapes. I'm going quickly because I want us to have enough time to see the full demo. You want to take your time on this. I know it seems simple. I can just go around, throw my outline on, and I'm done. No, the more time and the more detail you capture now, the more opportunity you have for true photorealism once the project is completed. All right, so now that I've done that, I haven't done the whole thing, obviously. I will show you one. But once you lift it up, everywhere I have drawn with the pen, it has transferred the chalk to the board. So, you want to make sure you tape the picture down, because if it shifts, it's going to throw the whole proportion off, and you got to wipe it all off and start over. Once you get it all done, you want to be very careful, because again, this will, not with my finger, but it can, if you rub fabric on it, it'll wipe it right off. So after you've completed the whole thing, I want to show you what that's going to look like. So I have this adorable little puffer fish. the eye. All right, and then we're gonna take a look at what a completed chalk map looks like. Can I get a drum roll? Okay, doesn't really look like anything, does it? Once your map is done, it shouldn't look like a perfect coloring book outline of your animal. It should look a little bit crazy because of the amount of detail you're gonna capture in this map. So don't throw away your little piece that you've traced. Be careful with it because it does have chalk on the back and it will rub off. What you want to do at this stage, because again it can rub and you don't want to lose all that hard work. You want to compare, okay, so this is the outside of the eye here and I can see where I put my pencil line. So this is that same line. And then you're going to go in with a neutral colored pencil. Can anybody tell me what a neutral color is? Hands? A neutral color. Just throw a guess. Come on.
Gray.
Gray. Perfect. Gray would be one of the neutral colors. Tan, beige, all of the muddy colors that show up in the middle of the color wheel. So don't pick one of the saturated colors because you'll have the opportunity to use those bright saturated colors later on. You are just very lightly tracing over your chalk lines that you've created with a sharpened, neutral, light colored pencil. You don't want to do this in a dark brown. Yes, it's a neutral, but it's the contrast with the board is not going to show up, and it's going to make it more difficult to work from. So again, this is a little time consuming. Don't rush it. The more time you spend on these prepping stages, the more opportunity you'll have to be successful. So once you've traced, not traced because it's not tracing, once you've transferred your image, so you have your photo that you worked from and you did your chalk and then you went over the chalk with your colored pencil, you can kind of rub the chalk off. It should look something like this. So there's the snake. I haven't mastered this little video thing. Okay. So this is where you're going to start adding your colors. And it's the same as working in grayscale. The value studies, you guys all did a great job with those. You understand your highlights, your shadows, your reflected light, your midtones. You're going to want to create all of those. Now we're adding an additional challenge of color. So we're going to add the color component. So we are quickly, I showed you the seahorse done in stages, so that'll be here throughout the week. Last week we talked about how to apply the colored pencil. Remember going in your circles. Last week I told you to stay away from blending. This week we are going to use blending. And I have another sample. Oh, there it is. Let's say that walked away. This will be here all week also. This is a very concise step-by-step on how to blend white into a dark burgundy. And this works with any pencils, it doesn't matter the colors. So this is the different layers that I used to eventually blend these colors. The same as last week. We're not pushing as hard as we can to get the darkest filled in color. We're building them up with little circles, and eventually we can blend those two colors almost like paint. So this will be here all week as well. This thing has a highlight. There we go. So you'll be able to take a closer look at this. There are a bunch of little samples of the board that we are using, so you'll be able to do some tests. And then I'm going to show you a little bit of a blending demo right now. So this is my frog. Okay, the camera's crooked. There we go. So this is my frog. And I am a very bad artist because I break some of the rules, such as I like to render an entire section of the drawing first and then move to the next section. So this eye, more or less,